Welcome to Unity Church of Sun Lakes. I am the spiritual leader of our church. My name is Reverend Jeanne MacLaughlin. This Sunday, this talk is called From Paradigm to Paradise, and I have certainly enjoyed working with this week. The Sufi mystic and poet Hafiz once wrote, "You're invited to meet the divine. No one can resist a divine invitation." That narrows down all of our choices to just two. You can come to the divine dressed for dancing or be carried on a stretcher to God's ward. Last week, I shared my interpretation of those words, and I think I'm going to do it one more time today. You are invited to meet the divine. You're being called to express more of God as you. You are constantly being invited in a higher, freer, fully expanded version of life, in living itself as you. The invitation shows up in your life as either an inner urging for more expression, or as discontent, dissatisfaction with where you are right now. You can't resist the invitation. Either your inner urging for more expression, or your discontent, dissatisfaction with it or where you are right now will have its way with you. That's just the way that it is. You cannot stop it, and you cannot resist it. You can come dressed for dancing. You can show up fully ready and prepared to do whatever it takes to answer the call of that desire or of the discontent. Or you can be carried out on a stretcher, which means you can resist the call of the desire or get mired down in the discontent or dissatisfaction and agree to a life of suffering. So, I hope that we all agreed last week that we would prefer to accept the divine invitation, dressed for dancing, or said another way, we would prefer to consciously, actively, deliberately, purposefully, and intentionally answer the call of either the desire or the dissatisfaction or discontent to be the fullest, freest, most expanded version of the divine that we can be. Are you still with me on that? Good, because each week we are going to suit up for dancing. And today we're going to suit up by releasing paradigms that put us on the stretcher every darn time. So what is a paradigm? I wanted to give you a precise definition, so I looked it up in the dictionary, and according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, a paradigm is a philosophical or theoretical framework of any kind. Said in an expanded way, our paradigms are our philosophical or theoretical frameworks that become habits of thought and habits of attitude. New Thought minister Dr. Harry Morgan Moses once coined a term, habitudes. Habits of attitude. That is what a paradigm is. And those habits of thought and attitude that color the way that we look at the world. They are our own set of glasses through which we view the world. Our personal viewpoints of the way things are. Now, here's an interesting thought about them. while they become ours, and we can take very tight ownership of our own paradigms and thoughts, they often did not start with us. They are often not even ours. Rather, they are other people's habits of thoughts and habits of attitudes. Habitudes passed down from one generation to another, that we have embodied because we didn't know any better. And for others of our paradigms, we do create them based on our experiences early in life. How we got them isn't really the point. The important thing to know about them is that they color how we view the world. And they very well may cloud our ability to even consider new or different divine ideas. And they can definitely keep us stuck in the what is and prevent us from achieving the greater what can be. And make no mistake, my friends, the divine invitation is always toward the greater what can be. They'll shape our logic. Have you ever said, I just don't see how it can happen? Well, that just doesn't make any sense at all. That could be your paradigm talking. Then there's perceptions. How about, well, that's just the way it always is. That's just the way it is. That's the way I see it. So that is the way it has to be. If so, that's your paradigm talking. Or there's the use of time. I never seem to have enough time to do what really matters. That's a paradigm. The ability to be creative. I'm just not that creative. That's a paradigm. And all of these ways our paradigms rear their not so attractive heads impact whether we show up to answer the divine invitation, dressed for dancing, or being carried out on a stretcher. There are two ways to change our paradigms. Through an intense emotional experience, which is life-changing events that rock our world, significant emotional events, or through constant repetition of a new thought supported by a new environment. Since intense emotional experiences, life-changing events that rock our world, are out of our conscious control, I mean, they hit us out of nowhere, or so we think. We're not going to focus on those today. Actually, for a great way to look at them, we could review last week's talk. So let's spend a few moments today looking at the second way. Constant repetition of a new thought supported by a new environment. Unity's co-founder, Myrtle Fillmore, was in desperate straits in 1886. She was sick from tuberculosis and malaria. One evening, she went along to see a visiting faith healer, which is something that she always did in the vain hope that there might be some way of remedying her situation. Sitting in the lecture hall, she heard E.B. Weeks say something that would change her life forever. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. Her cure seemed to happen from the moment of hearing this affirmation. And she went home and she spent intense time in meditation and prayer, day after day after day, repeating this simple sentence. Soon she was cured of her illness. That's a paradigm shift. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, he did not speak in terms of paradigms because paradigms is relatively a modern term. But he pretty much did lay out on the line the idea and the truth behind them when he wrote this in the Science of Mind textbook. If we think of ourselves as being separate from the universe, we shall be limited by this thought. For it is a belief in separation from God, which binds and limits. We are bound by nothing except belief. In other words, our paradigms. And this is a perception paradigm, that we are separate from God. Here's the point. Everything we experience, touch, taste, handle, and smell, our environment, bodies, conditions, money, happiness, friendships, all of these are effects of our paradigms, of our beliefs. This is not in any sense fatalistic, for we may change the trend of causation which has been set in motion. In other words, we may change our paradigms at any time we decide to do so. By the power of right thinking, it cancels and erases everything unlike itself. It answers every question, solves all the problems. It is the solution to every difficulty. It is the absolute with which we are dealing with, and nothing less. You begin at the beginning of the belief, and you reason it out with right thinking. Time after time, you do it over and over until all doubt disappears. There it is. Constant repetition of a new thought supported by a new environment. So choose just one to work on at a time. For example, if you want to shift your paradigm or your perceptions about things, that you choose to look at everything in a different way. So I challenge you to challenge every one of your perceptions, to question them, to touch in and simply ask, is that really true? I want to challenge a perception paradigm that we have right now with a new way of thinking. This is a race consciousness paradigm. Race consciousness, which is our term for a habitual way of thinking held by a mass of people. In general, what is the American paradigm around aging? You get feeble, the body breaks down, you just can't do things like you used to. Well, take a look at this clip. This is most definitely being dressed for dancing to answer the divine invitation.
When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see. No, I won't be afraid, for I won't as you stand by me. So darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. It's the sky that we look upon should tumble and fall, or the mountain should crumble to the sea. I won't cry, I won't cry, no I won't.
Well, wasn't that something? I told you last week there might be dancing this month, and there you have it. That woman is actually a 75-year-old grandmother of 7, dancing with her 35-year-old dance instructor. She took up salsa dancing 6 years prior as a way to recover from her husband's death. That challenges our paradigm about aging and loss, doesn't it? So I want to invite you now into a process of challenging a personal paradigm. So if you would, please close your eyes and take a couple of deep breaths. I want you to think about a vision you have for yourself, a divine aspiration, an invitation that is calling you, that is being offered you. Offered to express more of God, to be a fuller, freer, expanded version of yourself. It is there for you. It's there. It is in your mind. It might relate to relationships. It might relate to careers or the way you share your gifts with the world. It might relate to your financial abundance. Whatever it relates to, pick one right now. Pick only one. And because we're not there yet, it means that there's something standing in the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at where we are right now in relationship to that bigger vision of ourselves. Not with an unhappiness or this isn't good enough attitude at all. Because right now is a magical, beautiful, precious moment. And there is a gift in it. There's a gift in this moment. There's an understanding. There's an awareness. And there's an awakening in this moment. And that is what we're going to tap into. So please take another deep breath. A deep down into your belly. Deep belly breaths actually open us up physiologically to greater ideas. They calm our nerves, and they really do support our expanded awareness. So looking now at your current situation as it relates to your expanded vision. Not in discomfort or unhappiness, but in a question. Be inquisitive. We're going to take another deep breath. And now internally, simply say this question. That is a very important word here. I wonder what paradigm my current situation is here to show me. Take another deep breath. I wonder what gift of expanded awareness this current experience I am having has to give me. I wonder. And be in the inquiry right now, just for a few moments. Be in the inquiry. I wonder. I invite you to take this inquisitive attitude out into your next 3 days. And for the next 3 days, consciously be aware of your vision versus your current experience. staying in gratitude for all of the gifts that you have right now. And the blessings that are yours right now. Just being in the inquiry. I wonder what this is here to show me about my paradigm. About my philosophical, theoretical framework of thinking. About my habits of thought and attitude. For the next 3 days, be available for divine ideas. And they will come. I know they will come. I know they will come because you are willing for them to come. You are willing to expand and break out of that paradigm so that you can then align in vibration and in consciousness with the higher idea. I know that they will come because I'm going to pray right now and affirm they do. So we shall in this moment set the law in motion that the ideas, the higher ideas, the divine ideas come, and in the awareness of the paradigm, then the expanded awareness of the new thought about the paradigm also comes. And that is what we then spend the rest of our lives in. An expanded idea about who we are, about what we came here to do and to be, and the gifts we came here to share. So I know this unfolds because I have now spoken the word for it. And I simply now say thank you. I am grateful that it is now done and that we move into a higher place. That we move from a limiting paradigm into that expansion of paradise. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. And so it is. God bless. Have a great week.